The day the man hit me, I thought, this can't be. You mean I am living the life my mom lived? Not just once, it happened again. And I remember calling my friend and I'm saying to her, I swear down, if this guy hits me again, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to get a knife and kill him. And I looked at myself and said, you mean I've come to this? You're getting to a place where you actually want to kill someone? And I thought, no, it can't be. It can't be.
This can't be me.
This can't be me. All the things that I have achieved after that, I would never have achieved. You know why, Lynn? When someone is constantly telling you you're stupid, you are useless, you actually begin to believe that. And I can tell you, after we separated, for a long time, I used to think, actually,
Maybe
I can't manage. I'm stupid. And I thought, no, but this image is not tallying with the other, who I know myself to be. The image of some, like I am beautifully and wonderfully made, right? It's not tallying. It's okay to live with a single parent. It's okay to live with your dad when you're supposed to be with her. It's okay. Families are different. As long as they are healthy, as long as they are, you're being looked after, as long as there's no abuse, it's okay. It's better for your parents to be separated than together and you're suffering.
Hello, good morning, and a warm welcome to LNS. My name is Lynn Ngugi, and guys, I'm still bringing you these amazing conversations from the UK. I'm actually in London right now with my guest, but even before I can go anywhere, true love is a gift, and sometimes our hearts get broken, and sometimes we actually do find love again. When I brought you the story of Ada, you guys, you loved it, and I can tell you today we are about to listen to an inspirational story, but my guest has also been through pain, but she says in life, get to focus and focus and focus again. Do not lose direction. So I'm about to let her introduce herself, but before that, allow me to say thank you to our amazing partners at TapTap and our incredible host here in London, Lydia Tet Olet, for making this work happen. And now, without further ado, please allow me to let my guest today introduce herself. Hello.
Hi, Lynn.
How are you?
I am very, very good, and I'm very, very grateful to actually be sitting here with you. I am so delighted, and thank you.
I am the one who is delighted because when we planned on this happening and then it did not happen, I knew I was dealing with such an incredible person. Your energy is amazing.
Thank you.
No,
I'm
not saying that because you're on the show. I would say that off camera, you have incredible energy, and thank you for being patient with us. How are you feeling?
I am good. I am good. I'm just good actually and happy. Yeah.
You are a bubbly soul.
Usually, yes. Most of the time, I'm a ball. Like I'm full of beans.
I know who you are, but please, for the sake of my audience, introduce yourself.
My name is Angela Wanjera Karanja, and obviously I was born Angela Wanjera, and I was born of a teen mother. So you guys, as you can imagine, my mother, once she got me, I was left. I don't know who I was left with. So I was left with one person here, another person there. I think, to be honest, for the first 5 years of my life before my mother got married, I was living with different people, like different, you're like a little bag being passed from, I cannot remember knowing that this is where you're going to sleep tonight, or this is what, that I just cannot remember any of that. But that's what happened. I never really knew my mom until I was about 5 years old. And that's when she came back to tell me she's getting married. And this person that we got married to, she took, I remember we went for the wedding, her wedding. And one of the things, and we were with my cousins and everything. And you know, when you're a kid, you don't completely understand everything. But Lynn, let me tell you, you know, I think that's when all of my problems started. Do you know, on that night, which was supposed to be a wedding day, my mother nearly got killed by the husband. And we were wondering, hey? And some of my cousins here are probably listening, but we talk about it and we are like, oh my God, we can't believe it, you know? But anyway, that's what happened. And then we went to we moved to the village. He moved us straight to the village, to a village. So when I say this is where all of our problems started, I knew being moved from one place to another was hard. But coming to a place now when you don't even know what you're going to eat or what's going to happen, that took it a whole different level. And you know what? Even as a kid, I thought, I think my mom is making a mistake. What is this? And then I can tell you, forever and ever until that man passed on, it was fights. And of course, it moved from fighting her to fighting us. My mom went on to get 3 more kids. My brothers, I love them. I know I don't even call them my step brothers. I just love them. And I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
This was not supposed to happen. You know, like our friendship was not supposed to be there because he made sure that there was that stigma on me. You know, like
Divide and rule.
Divide. And then, you know, in the village, we moved to Muranga.
Yes.
So in the village, he kept saying, this is the kid. It's a very derogatory name for a kid who has come with the mother. A very derogatory Kikuyu word. So that, you know, I felt unwanted. I felt marginalized. I felt, you know, and he would say it and even tell my brothers that is who I was. That's the person I am, that I'm useless and everything. But there's one thing I remember, what kept me strong. And when you talked about focus, even though I could not comprehend everything, I remember we used to go to my grandfather. Grandfather was one of the people that I lived in when I was little. When this stepfather, was calling me names and those derogatory words, I knew it didn't match what I knew about myself, because in tradition, especially in the Kikuyu tradition, I was named after my grandmother. So my grandfather used to call me this pretty wife, you know, and all those. So when this person started calling me those names, I was like, this doesn't fit. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't tally.
Yes.
Right? And this is why sometimes it's important to let kids know who they are, because when someone else tells them who they are not, yeah, then they're like, that doesn't feel right.
That's not who I am.
That's not who I am. So anyway, he continued because we were in his homestead.
Yeah.
And it was on and on. Do you know, Lynn, from when I remember I had stopped, you know, when you're little, you stop weeing in bed.
Yeah.
But as soon as my mom got married, I started weeing bed every day until I was in high school. Obviously, I didn't understand why and all that. Now I know it's
fear.
Now I know it's fear, it's anxiety, it's worry.
Yes.
Yeah. And those are some of the things I think we've spoken before about. In psychology, we call it psychosomatic disorders. You know, they are. Why is a big kid weeing bed? You know why? But those are the problems. I'm having problems. But let me tell you, because of knowing that feeling of knowing who I am, it kept me going. I remember we, in this Geshagi, in this village,
Yes.
it's called the Gaine. So the Gaine, we used to walk to school miles and miles. Now you guys can imagine now I have these shoes, right?
Yeah.
But obviously we used to walk without shoes for miles and miles up that hill. And that time, we've not had food.
You can now send money to Kenya at great rates and with zero transfer fees. Trust TapTap for convenient, safe and fast transactions to M-Pesa and to Kenyan bank accounts. Download today and get a bonus on your first transfer.
So that was my, that was my journey to school every day. But I liked it because I preferred not to be at home. Yeah. And I preferred to be at school. And then I liked to read. And I like to indulge. I think for me it was you're escaping.
Yeah.
It's escaping, right? And I'm thinking, but even as in escaping, I'm thinking, oh my God, when we go back, there's not going to be anything to eat. I'm thinking, and then we used to fetch water from the river. And I would go and fetch like gallons and gallons. Like I laugh when people tell me, oh, Angie, you've got nice arms. And I'm thinking, you don't know where this came from. Like, they say, oh, do you go to the gym and all that? And I'm like, maybe I do, but these
are
were
natural.
developed
Yes.
from carrying jars
Yeah.
of water.
Yeah.
Right? So, and then also I have interesting legs as
Yes.
well. The ones with, like muscles. And I remember when I went to high school, the girls were laughing, wondering, how can a girl have such legs, right? And I used to play hockey. And I think I was traumatized by that because I didn't realize that girls had to have certain sort of legs,
Yes.
right? But anyway, that's a story
for another
day,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So anyway, at school, when I talk about focus, because of everything that was the havoc that was going on at home, I was looking for somewhere to escape. And in the looking for somewhere to escape, I became, like someone who reads, I was always like top of my class, like top of my class, because I used to escape in books, right? Then something happened when I was about 10. A teacher called Miss Kamau came to our school. And do you know, Lynn, I had never seen someone with such clean shoes. Yeah, so you can imagine, we went to school without shoes, we were dusty.
Yeah.
The teachers as well, their shoes were dusty, and some of them had holes and everything. So, but Miss Kamau comes and I'm thinking, wow.
Clean shoes.
Clean shoes, how does this happen? And I was mesmerized, right?
Yeah.
And then Miss Kamau was nice, and I thought she was so pretty. Yeah, and then she said to us, she had come from, Kenyatta University, and she was doing the teacher training or something. So she was just there. But I was just mesmerized by this like beauty that had come to the village, right? So I thought, gosh, in my heart, I thought, oh, I'd like to know, like a kid, I would like to know this teacher. I would like for her to like me, I'm thinking I'd like for her to like me.
Yeah.
And guess what? I think you've heard us talk about manifestation, the thoughts that we think, what we think about our desires. Because I believe that as humans, we have this, what we call, it's called electromagnetic. Yeah. We are electromagnetic beings. So whatever you're thinking is what you will attract. Yeah? So that lunchtime, Miss Kamau said, oh, anyone wants to come and like stay with us. We used to go and sit under the tree, or some boys used to go and play football, and girls would play different games. We had all sorts of games, like the the bottle top ones, and then we had the one that you jump 1, 2, 3, 4, you know,
Yes.
all those games, lovely games.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, I'm gonna hang out with Miss Kamau, right? So we go and we went under a tree, and then Miss Kamau is saying, she's telling me about how she's in university, and I was like, you mean there is a place called university, right? And then she said that she was from a place called Gadaivi.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, how can someone, you know, and this is the beauty of representation.
Yeah.
How can someone have come from that? Gadaivi was even worse than my village. How can it be that that person can come from there and she looks like this? You know, like she has nice shoes, she's got nice, you know, she just looked amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she told us that she used to be exactly how we were. And I was like, you know, now my ears are like, I want to hear more.
Yes.
I want to hear more, right? At the end of that term, Miss Kamau said to me one thing that I will never forget, and I believe it changed the trajectory of my life. She said to me, Wajira, do you know that there is a school you can go to? And if you go to that school, you can eat 3 meals a day. I'm telling you, I didn't even hear any more of what she said. Yes. I was like, you mean food? You mean there is things like those in this world?
Yes.
Right?
3 times.
3 times. And you're not thinking, because you know, I'm so used to worrying, what is there going to be food? Yeah. What's going to happen and all. Hey, in my head, I told myself, I am going to that school. So you can imagine I was about 10. So that was about, I think it was class 5. Yeah. And then they just introduced 8, because we went to the 8-4-4 system, yes. Right? So they just introduced the 8. So instead of going for 2 more, we were going to go for 3 more. So I said to myself, I'm going to that school. And believe me, do you know, Miss Kamau left at the end of that term. And that's why I believe she was on attachment or something, right? I've never seen her again. Yeah. I've never heard of wherever she went. Yeah. So I said to myself, that school, I'm going to go to that school. Now, I started working even harder than I used to. I mean, I used to read and all that, and, you know, just casually, but intensely, because I didn't have anything else to do. So there you go. Do you know, when it came to choosing school, I think we choose school at the beginning of the year of class 8. Do you know, I chose that, but I don't know if am I supposed to mention it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we want to know.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So you all Mary Hill girls.
We went to Mary Hill girls.
Yes. Do you know, I said that is exactly where I'm going. And when they brought the you know how you choose national school and then provincial school and then the district school?
Yes.
Do you know, I was not even looking at anything else.
You just chose that.
I chose that. But the teachers had to say to me, no, you have to choose all the others just in case. Yeah. But I knew. Do you know when you know that you know? You know. Yeah? And you know, sometimes it can sound like conceit. Yes. Yet it's a confidence. There's something that there's a confidence that I believe Spirit or God puts in you, so that you know this is going to happen. Yeah. And sometimes when you share it with people,
they think you are either being an overachiever or you're fooling yourself.
Yes, you're feeling conceited. Yes. Oh, who do you think you are? How? In fact, again, go back home. They were asking, have you ever even heard someone who's ever gone to such a school? Yes. Who do you think you are? You know, all that. Yeah. And obviously there was the talk, the village, you know, and it's something I had kept in my head, concealed for so long. I didn't want to tell anyone, because I knew that even at that age, I knew the mentality of the village, right? So I kept it until when I was choosing, obviously the teachers will go and tell, oh, Wajira chose this one, and so anyway. But come the results day, oh my God, that is exactly where, I got some top marks. And then when they brought the schools where you're going, that is exactly where I had been called to, because obviously they have to choose you, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's the school I went.
Yeah.
And that, for me, that was the beginning of knowing, actually, I didn't articulate it well at that time, but you begin to see, actually, when you focus, things happen for you, things happen for you, things happen for you,
Good.
right?
Good.
Now, you can imagine, it's me going to Maryhill High School. So come the day of going to school, what do you think happens? Yeah?
I don't know.
Obviously, my family, they have no money. There is no money at all. So luckily, the villagers, now because I had done all this, the villagers contributed here and there and there.
I miss the Harambee
I know,
spirit.
yeah. And then I went to school.
Oh, good.
Yeah? When you know that you're feeling blessed, I went to school. Wow. But guess what happened next?
Okay.
My family cannot afford to keep me there. So I was chased out of school. Right? So I'm chased out of school and I'm wondering, God, what is this? Just when I thought, as soon as I got there, I was like, my dream is here. Yeah. Now I'm not even thinking about food. I'm eating 3 meals a day. This, I'm even wearing shoes. I'm doing, socks. Yeah? And I'm wearing this uniform clean and all. A couple of months down the line, you're being chased to go back home. And I'm thinking, God, what is this? What is this? Yeah? But you have to go. You can't stay in school, right? So I went home. But you go home, there is no money. Mm-hmm. You're not going home for anything. There is no money, right? So there I am. I have now to go and work in people's farms to try and get money to go back to school. Mm-hmm. And how much can a child earn to pay for school fees? Not much. So you can imagine the amount of school I missed, a lot of school. And it used to happen over and over again. I would go back to school. But it got to a point, Lynn, let me tell you, I decided, what's the point of going home? I got crafty. They used to send me home and I'd get to the gate and I wait and then come back, sneak back in. Mm-hmm. Because I was like, what am I going home for? And obviously they would find out that later on, maybe a month later, they would find, oh, you're still here and you haven't paid school fees, go. Anyway, I finished school, thank God. Yeah. And as you can imagine, I passed. I didn't pass as well as I could have.
Because of the distraction.
Yeah, there was a lot of distraction, lot of distraction. And another thing I used to, again, school was an escape place for me. Yeah. So when I would go back home, there was so much stress. After high school, I couldn't go to university because, again, we could not afford it, right? But here is, again, what happens again with focus. Mm-hmm. As long as you want to excel, it's like the universe works for you to find ways to help you.
There you go.
I got a scholarship, just like that. Someone told me about a scholarship at Nairobi Theatre Academy. Mm-hmm. And I remember going there and thinking, I'm going to go, and you had to interview, I have to go in here because if I don't go here, it's like my life is gone, right? Yeah. And thankfully, when I went there, I was taken on. And not only were they paying for the school,
they're giving you a stipend.
They used to give a stipend, right?
Yes.
And hey, I had never known anything like that. Anyway, I went on, and whilst I was doing this, I decided to do, I was taking odd jobs, like I was doing a lot of voiceovers. I was doing a lot of plays at the theater.
Yes.
I was doing a lot of things to try and make ends meet, right? But before then, I think this is going to be a story for another day.
Yeah.
Do you know, because the school was in Nairobi, right? It used to be at the French Cultural Center. And I told you we lived in Muranga.
Yeah.
And the closest person who could have me was in Juja, and that was my auntie. Now, we're talking about that stipend. I had to use it for transport to take me to Nairobi and back. But here is the thing. When you're doing those courses, sometimes you have to go and do performances. And those buses and matatus that go to Juja would finish at about maybe 8 o'clock. So can you imagine? I'm there. Do you know, Lynn, how many times I slept in the streets? And this, people don't even know this, because until one day I thought, I'm putting myself in danger. I'm putting myself in danger. And then what I did, my cousin used to be in Nairobi University. I said to her, she's called exactly as me, right? So I said to her, can I be coming to sleep at yours when I'm doing this? And she was so gracious. But can you imagine, those days we didn't have phones like call and all that. So when we had those plays, sometimes she'd be there, sometimes she'd not be there. So the many times I slept there at Nairobi University on the streets, the only good thing is, because there were many students, some of them are drunk and all that, you really can't know who's who.
Yeah.
And there's numbers, a lot of numbers. But the good thing was, at least I would have a shower in their showers. So I would then come back again to class. Like everything is okay. And that's why I say sometimes you don't know what someone is going through. Like, we need to be kind to people, because you don't know what someone is going through at that time. So anyway, I managed to finish that. Thank goodness. And then I got a job with PSI. Hey, so so I got a job. Now, you can imagine, I'm thinking, the first thing I have to pay for. Remember that school fees? All those arrears? That's the first thing I'm thinking. I have to clear that to get my my certificate. So I went and I cleared that. And then I went home. I had not been home for so long, because I just I didn't want to be there at all. And I'm telling you, as soon as I finished high school, I really never went back home, because there was, the havoc. I just couldn't stand it. And by the way, when I talk about the abuse, there was not just physical abuse. There was also a lot of sexual, there was a lot of sexual. I was not sexually assaulted, but there was a lot of sexual exposure, a lot of, like it's like this person wanted you to get used. This is normal, right? Which is how people groom, like, this is normal, this is normal, this is normal. So when they come to have sex with you, you think it's normal. Yeah. And that is but thankfully I was like, this is not right. This is not a nice environment for me, right? So anyway, so I went back home. Do you know, I found all of my brothers at home. They could not go to school. And that brought tears. It brought, like, all those feelings of being chased from school, all those feelings of not going to school. And I thought, when I started working, my first thing for me was like, I'm going to now go to school and educate myself and everything and go on. But when I went back and saw that situation, Lynn, I remember just crying when I saw my brother. And I was like, no, He was I think in Form 1 at that time. And the others, they couldn't even afford book. And I just I don't I just thought, this can't be. We cannot have this cycle, cannot go on. It cannot go on. And that's when I decided I'm going to forget myself for as long as it takes until like they're finished school and Form 4. And I did that, Lynn.
Wow.
I completely I did not neglect myself, but I put my own education at, even though, remember, I told you I'm very focused. I wanted to do this. I'm thinking I can help people. I can, and because of what happened to me with Miss Kamau, I was thinking I can get a job where I help young people to know that they can be great. I'm thinking all that. I'm thinking of being a social worker. I'm thinking about being but I couldn't. So I held it for some time until they finished. And now when they finished is when now I came back to educating myself. And in educating myself, that's how I came to the UK, right? And hey, now remember, now I'm about how old am I now? I'm about 25 when I came here, right? So at that time again, I'm thinking, relationships and love and starting family, biologically you're thinking like, that's how I was thinking. Although now I think differently.
We are conditioned to think life is school.
Absolutely.
Marriage,
and then marriage,
death.
Children, and then death.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was conditioned like that. So there I am. I'm thinking, so what happens? So I come here and then I have a boyfriend, right? So I have this boyfriend and then the boyfriend comes and then we are here. And because I'm a very focused person, sometimes, especially as women, if you're very focused, if you're very goal-orientated, if you meet a person who does not support your journey or who is threatened by your journey, it can turn nasty. Yeah? So I'm here and we're staying there, and then, things started, what worried me most, Lynn, was I remembered the person started calling me stupid. The person started calling me useless. The person started calling me that I'm good for nothing. And this started bringing back, can you remember?
That's what he called me. That's what you're...
Imagine, that's what...
used to call you.
Imagine. So I'm thinking,
the person I'm supposed to spend my life with.
I'm thinking,
is he calling me stupid?
Yeah,
useless?
I'm thinking, am I reliving my childhood when I have a choice? I'm thinking, no, this can't be. But remember, you're in love, but also you're in shock.
So, is this the part where I get to ask you, if you're around that age, you have no idea what love is?
I don't even know. I don't know. I think it's...
What was love to you back then? Like when you guys were together, what was love
for me? Love is... of course, there's the feelings first.
Yes.
There's attraction, there's the feeling. And then there's also someone supporting your journey and someone accepting you just the way you are. Yeah. And what I thought, I shared a lot with the person. I said to them, this is what happened in my childhood. And then I thought, is this being used against me? Is it being exactly what, it's like when Job said, the thing I feared most has come to me. So I'm thinking, I'm telling you, it was like I'm reliving my childhood again, yet I have a choice. And I was angry with myself. I was so angry with myself. I was like, how can this be? I had a chat with him. I said, this cannot be, this cannot happen. And obviously they say they're not going to do it and all that. But it continued. Unfortunately, what happens, especially if you're in an abusive relationship, it doesn't stop. It does not stop. It gets worse. and the cycle gets, shorter. Instead of being called stupid once a week, it's almost every day. Instead of being called useless, or you have no plans, no one else can want you, no one else would love you. And I used to like running, and then the person would say that, oh, all this running makes your vagina big. And I'm like,
what?
Where did you, like things that don't make sense.
Yeah.
But here is the problem with those abusive relationships, is that because you're conditioned, and also remember, you're coming from an environment where people don't leave marriages, people don't leave relationships.
Do or die.
Yes, it's do or die.
For better, for worse.
Yes. So I'm thinking, gosh, this doesn't sound right. But let me fast forward, Lynn. The day the man hit me, I thought, this can't be. You mean I am living the life my mom lived? Not just once, it happened again. And I remember calling my friend and I'm saying to her, I swear down, if this guy hits me again, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to get a knife and kill him. And I looked at myself and said, you mean I've come to this? You're getting to a place where you actually want to kill someone? And I thought, no, it can't be. It can't be.
This can't be me.
This can't be me. And I'm thinking, oh, look, you're here, you're well-educated, you're all that. And you're going through this.
And by that time, you have a good job here in the UK?
Yes, completely.
What job?
Yes, a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, no, this can't be me. And then you're feeling embarrassed because when you go outside with people, you're looking the couple, right? You're looking the couple. And then I said to myself, no, this can't be. Anyway, we still go ahead, right? Got a child. Yeah. That's why you never ask someone why didn't they leave, because abusive relationships are very complicated, they're very complex. Even I look at myself and say, you mean, Angie, you went through that, So anyway, we get a child and this gets worse. Now, again, I'm looking back and thinking, gosh, it's like the cycle. Can you remember when I was younger, my mom's being beaten, and I'm experiencing that. Now I have a child. I'm just about to put her through the exact same thing, Lynn. And I said to myself, no, I cannot do this. And that's when I said to the person, you have to go. And police were involved, right? You have to go. I said, you've got to go. Because I thought, my daughter is going to grow up in this environment, the same environment I grew with. And here is the problem, Lynn, yeah? When we are wounded, we are like landmines. Yeah? We bleed on others. So the person goes. Yeah. But guess what? Obviously, families are involved and all that, as usual, as it happens in especially our African community. And we were separated for about a year. And then again, here we come again. Do you know, Lynn, it didn't even last 1 month. I remember when we got back together.
You took him back?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Now, this is the madness. That's why I'm telling you, these abusive relationships are crazy.
Complex.
They are complex. And obviously, we can talk through the psychology of it. Now that I'm a psychologist,
yes.
I know why we do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's why I can never blame someone.
For not leaving.
No. And I'm not saying it's nice or it's healthy. It's not. Mm-hmm. After 1 year, we came back. I remember going to Kenya for 2 months. I was speaking to the mother, and then they're telling me, oh, he only did this. Look. I remember the mother saying to me, do you see this ear? Do you see my ear? It was cut off by the father. What he has done for you is nothing.
What?
And I'm thinking, hey, what do you want? What do you guys want?
What's with those parents too?
That is what they went
The
through.
way they teach people to accept abuse.
I know. That's the thing. They teach you to accept that. And I looked at her, I thought, no. But Lynn, when I took him back, I've told you it didn't even last a month. I remember that Saturday like it was yesterday. He was brooding, he was angry. He just, like swelling. And I'm wondering what's happening. I was writing a proposal for a project. And then he says, and he knew. And then he says, oh, we're going to see my friends in Leicester. And I said, no, I'm not going because this proposal is supposed to be in tomorrow. So he takes the kid and goes and comes back. So, no, it was actually a Sunday. A Sunday. It was not a Saturday because he went to work. So, on Monday morning, Lynn, I was shouting his name in bed. I didn't have, the way you sleep with just the
chilled out.
I was shouting his name, shouting. Do you know, I thought we had been attacked by thieves or something, only to find out it's him that is attacking me. I was like, no. I couldn't believe. So I ran into the other room. I called the police. As soon as I called the police, he dressed him, he left. When the policewoman came, she said to me, Angela, this guy is going to kill you. If you don't leave, this guy is going to kill you. I shriveled, I fell to the ground, Lynn. And I thought, this guy is going to kill me. He's going to be jailed for a very long time. We have a daughter, she's 2. What's going to happen to her? She's going to be taken by social services. And that is the moment I knew I was never going to be with that man ever again. Ever. And I knew. And I remember holding on to the police office woman. And I said to her, yeah, this is it. And Lynn, here is the stupid thing. They said, do you want to press charges? No. Even though my neck was swollen, everything was swollen and everything. And that's why I'm telling you, this abusive, they're very complex. Now, on reflecting, I say, I should have. But at that time, I didn't. And that's when I knew that was it. And now, no matter what happened, when the mom called me, I said to them, this is what's going to happen. Your son is going to be put in prison. I'll be dead. And this kid, you will never see her again. You'll never see this kid again. And that is when I decided, no. So I'm telling you, I don't like to talk about those. There are details of the relationship that I would not even mention because maybe my daughter is watching here. But I'm not saying that you don't speak about the details. But my daughter, she's watching here because she loves, kids love their dad and they love their mom, right? Yeah. There are details I would not even mention about that relationship. She has asked, now that she's older, she's able to tell. All I've said to her, the relationship was not good for you.
All of you.
All of us. It was not a healthy relationship. And that is why it's like this. And one of the things I helped her to grow to accept is that it's okay. It's okay to live with a single parent.
Yes.
It's okay to live with your dad when you're supposed to be with her. It's okay. Families are different. As long as they are healthy, as long as they are you're being looked after, as long as there's no abuse,
Yes.
it's okay. It's better for your parents to be separated than together and you're suffering. Because the trauma the kids go through,
It's too much.
it's just
all in the name of better for us.
no.
My house can't come down, you know, my home. I
No.
have a home to protect. My kids will not grow up without a dad. I will not be a single mom. I've worked so hard for this marriage, but the trauma the kids go through, it's too much.
It's too much, Lynn. And you're thinking, I am traumatizing my kid, and it's for the sake of your image.
Yeah.
Do you know the stake I got from everyone? I'm the one that broke the marriage. I'm the one that didn't try enough. I'm the one that should, something small happens and then you just go. And I'm thinking, God.
How many small things have cost people's lives?
Absolutely. And I'm telling you, when the police told me that, I was like, I knew, so clearly, this is it.
Yeah.
This is it. And I can tell you, once I made that decision, I never looked back. And because I never looked back, and I can, sometimes I think all the things that I have achieved after that, I would never have achieved. You know why, Lynn? When someone is constantly telling you you're stupid, you are useless, you actually begin to believe that. And I can tell you, after we separated, for a long time, I used to think, actually,
Maybe
I can't manage. I'm stupid. And I thought, no, but this image is not tallying with the other, who I know myself to be. The image of some, like I am beautifully and wonderfully made, right? It's not tallying. So I was like, oh my God, this... Now that is the short of my,
the shorter version.
The short of it. And, I don't think I would be where I am if I was still with the person, because there was a lot of clipping of my wings, so much I didn't even realize that. I didn't realize that at that time. Like when you're in the hot soup, you don't know.
Yeah.
So it's just, I look back and say, gosh, all these things that I have achieved, all these things that I've gone through. But as you know now, I am happily with someone. It's like you couldn't wait for us to get there.
You're like, hello life.
I know, hello life, right? Hello life. And that's why I say, you don't lose your focus just because something has happened, just because something has not worked, doesn't mean all the others cannot work.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that. It's not easy, because remember, you are so damaged, you are so crushed, you have to build yourself back up. Otherwise, you will be with someone who also treats you like that.
Yes.
Because I'm sure you know this, it's called the broken car syndrome.
Yeah.
When sometimes we are broken by someone, all we get is other people dumping, treating you badly and all that.
Yeah.
But when you're healed and when you go back to the person you want to be, then, it's like you're able to, because I'll tell you what, when this gave me perspective after that relationship was over.
Yeah.
Lynn, I sat down and I wrote the kind of man I want. I don't know if we're allowed to say it.
Let's say it. Let's say it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wrote down here on a piece of paper, and I used to look at it, talk about manifestation. I talked about the man, how he's going to look. He's going to be emotionally healed. He's going to be sexually healed. He's going to be financially well. all those, socially well, and all those. I wrote about 7 qualities that I needed my man to be. And I went for many dates.
Oh, yeah.
I went for many dates. But because I knew what I was looking for, I knew every time I met someone, no matter how nice or covered they were,
But they did not tick.
they did not tick. If they did not tick, and I'm not a vanity person.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, this person, this is where I am. Yeah, this is where I am. I feel emotionally healed. I feel like, sexually healed, and I'm able to express myself.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm socially well with other people. I want the person to be the exact same. Yeah. And that is what I was looking for. And when I met Matt,
Your husband.
yes, I met him, and I knew this was a nice person. Of course, you don't know everything about someone. You've got to
learn
suss them. You've got to suss them,
Yeah.
right? So you have to find out whether this person is really who they are saying they are,
Yeah.
right? And as I got to know him, I was like, oh my God, you almost cannot believe, like things are falling into place, yeah. And I can tell you, Lynn, there is hope. There is hope. It doesn't matter what you've gone through or whether your relationships have worked or not. There is hope.
Yeah.
There are nice people out here also looking for nice people like you, like me, like anyone else that is wanting to be in a relationship, because we can't assume some people don't want, and it's okay. Yeah. So I met this person, and I can tell you the support, the support. In fact, I recently wrote a best-selling book, right?
Oh, yeah?
Yes. So in that book, I mentioned, I'm not saying if it were not for him, because God will lift you up regardless of who is around you. Mm-hmm. But the support, in fact, I wrote it like this, and everyone was laughing. I thanked him for cleaning, caring, and cooking on repeat, whilst I disappeared into the crevices of creativity, right? And that is the kind of person, and that's not what he does.
Yeah.
He's not a cook, a cleaner. But for me to do what I had to do, he needed to do a lot of these things.
Yes.
So I say, there is definitely, and I say God is a God of second chances, third chances, fourth chances, fifth chances. And I'm not saying this is not a religion. I don't think this is a religious thing.
Yeah.
If you don't believe God, it's okay.
It's still
The universe is friendly. In fact, Einstein said that one of the biggest decision that each one of us as a human being has to make is to decide whether you live in a friendly universe or not. Because if you decide you live in a friendly universe, that is what you're going to be.
Yes.
And that's what you're going to attract.
Yes.
Remember when we started talking, we talked about the law of attraction.
Exactly.
Because if that is your electromagnetic, that is what you're going to attract. Yeah. And unfortunately, people would say, okay, does that mean if we are having problems, we attract the same? Unfortunately, it is the same. Because like I said, when we are wounded, I believe, let me say something.
Go on.
Lynn, do you know I judged and hated my mom so much for what she put us through? And then I was put in a position to do what I had been expecting her to do. Yes. Can you see? That judgment, the harsh judgment I had for her, I was put in a position where I have to make that decision for my family. And later on...
How are you guys now, you and mom?
My mom, by the way, my mom passed on last November.
Oh, okay, sorry.
But I'll say to you this.
Yeah.
After after myself and my daughter's dad separated, we had a chat, like a chat with my mom. And I said to her everything that she put us through, everything that she put us through, everything that she put us through. Do you know, my mom said to me, I didn't know anything else. I didn't know what else to do. I did not know where was I going with 4 children. Do you know, after that conversation, and it was a long conversation, it was a healing conversation, I looked at her and felt sorry for her. And I completely forgave her. Because I realized she could only give me what she had.
God. And then when you know better, you do better.
She did not know any better.
How could she have done any better?
Lynn, you said it so cleverly. But one of the things my mom did as well is to just accept.
She owned up.
She said, I was wrong.
And sometimes that's what you're looking for. I'm not looking for you to go and change things. I just want you to own up and say, I was wrong.
Yes. And that is the beauty. And from that time, my relationship with my mom, it became, we got to know each other. Like we became so close.
Yeah.
So because the unforgiveness went, she just owned up. She said, I was wrong. And me, I just dropped it. It was like a big load that was dropped. And I'm so proud of my mom, because many parents
don't own up.
They don't say sorry. They hang on to, yes, I was right. Military, that one. But I think my mom, at the point we had a conversation, she had a new heart. And I think that is all I wanted.
Yeah.
And then, Lynn, let me say something.
Go on.
Which is I am so proud of my mom about now. In fact, when she passed on last year, do you know when you know that I couldn't have said anything? There's nothing else I could have done. We've talked about everything. We've if I wanted to tell you I love you, I love you. If I wanted to, there was there's nothing else. The only thing I was angry with her about was because I promised her a trip, and then she died before, right? Yeah. But in terms of, like quarrel or anything, there was nothing like that. It was a clean cut.
You both did the healing.
I'm telling you, and it's so nice. And what I wanted to say is, after we had that conversation, because I knew I was healed, I knew I would bring up my daughter as a whole and healed mother.
There you go.
Because remember we said, when you are wounded, you bleed on others. People. Yeah? I was wounded. I hated my mom. That's why I didn't want to go back home or anything. But after that was gone, I knew now I can be a good mother,
yes,
to my daughter.
Yes.
And I have been.
Yeah.
My daughter and I are so, like I was saying to you, we talk about healthy relationships and all that. She's a teenager now. Yes. She's beginning to get boyfriends and all that. Okay. Yes. We talk about these healthy relationships, what to look for, what not to accept, and all that.
Yeah.
And I said to her, watch me. Because she's watching how I'm living my life.
And kids are observers.
Completely. She's watching how I live my life. Yeah. That's the way it has been. And I can say, and it's something again, when I speak to parents, I say we need to heal. We need to heal our wounds. Otherwise, we are like landmines.
Yes.
Landmines, when you step on it, it lipukas, it blows up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It blows up. And because it's blowing up and you're here, you can't really have a connection with your kid until that is healed.
I love that perspective.
Until
I
that
love
is
it.
healed.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
How is love now?
oh, my love. My love.
Eh.
My lover is a lovely, lovely person. I don't know how to praise him enough. He's just even though we are from different races and that, I love the way that I mean, imagine coming from being called you're stupid and ugly to actually being appreciated. Oh, you look nice. You've got a nice body. That's what, as a woman, I want to hear from my mate, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that is the kind of person, that's the kind of person and kind of relationship we have.
Yes.
And I can say it's fulfilling. And like I said, daughter is watching.
Yeah.
She's looking and thinking, does this look like anything I would like to have?
Yes.
And it's up to her to answer that. But it's also up to us to demonstrate, because I can tell her, oh, don't have a toxic relationship.
But you are accepting toxicity.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. For many moms, especially women who, you're at that part where now you have the kids, the person that you thought you would end up with has, messed you up. They don't even, you don't think about yourself. You don't even want to go back to love again. What would you want to tell them?
I would say, first of all, work on yourself. Work on yourself. Heal, because when you've been treated like that, you are wounded. We are people, right? Heal yourself. Bring back your self-esteem. Know who you are. And then in knowing who you are, again, you will attract a person who is exactly that. And you will not tolerate any of that nonsense. And that is what I would say. First of all, it is not over. It is not over until you stop breathing. So if you have a dream, if, for example, you want to have a healthy relationship, it's still there. It's still available
no matter how
for
old.
you.
How old are you, Angela?
I'm 47, right?
And in love.
I'm 47 and madly in love with a man. Who I met him, 2013 is? 2013, how many years ago?
9 years ago.
Yes. And, and going into our 50s, it's just getting better. Like you thought, oh, this is the end of it, But it's just getting to know each other, appreciating each other, supporting each other, right? And just loving the person just as they are, I think that's
beautiful.
That's all. That's what I can say.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
You are awesome. But it would be a mistake for me to end up this show without asking, what do you do here in the UK and how is life like for you here?
All right.
Yeah.
You know what I do.
I know. But they don't know what you do.
I know. Yeah. So I am an adolescent psychologist.
Okay.
And I like I said to Lynn, I'm a newly bestseller. You guys, And I know, thank you. I wrote the book. It's called Smuggled.
Yes.
And it just hit the charts, and it's just, I am so thankful. I am just so thankful.
Congratulations.
And so that's what I do. And also I'm a corporate wellness consultant. Yeah. So especially for parents of teenagers, that's my that's my forte. Yeah. That's my strength, and that's where I want us to work, so that, honestly, so that we can bring up whole kids, and so that we as parents, especially mothers, we are whole, so we can bring up whole kids. Otherwise, the cycle goes on. The cycle goes on. Do you know there's even in the Bible says that the parents have eaten sour grapes, and now the children's teeth are on edge. Yeah. if we don't heal our wounds,
if we don't break those generational
that's the word. If
Yes.
we don't break those generation curses, we're passing it on to our kids.
Yeah.
And it also says that it gets worse from generation to generation to generation.
It gets
And then
worse.
you wonder, why are kids, we tend to complain, kids are getting worse these days.
Yes.
Why? Because we did not bother to heal ourselves.
Yeah.
So we are passing on those wounds and passing them on. And the generations are just getting worse.
Yes. And it's time to stop.
It's time to stop. And because I can't stop for my daughter, I can't stop for my mom,
Yeah.
the only person I have control over is me.
You.
And it has to start with me.
Yeah.
And it's not something to be ashamed. We are all wounded. So we need to start with us healing.
Yeah. Everyone is wounded.
Oh,
And hiding it doesn't help. Everyone is wounded, and it's okay to be wounded. How is life like here in this place?
in this UK. In this UK, oh.
In this UK, in this UK, how is life? Hata kutuenyenyu.
I know.
Maisha iko aje huku?
Maisha iko, for me, I can say that I am blessed, very, very blessed. I get to do what I love. I get to live with someone that I love. I get to parent a young person that I love. And I get to work with young people that I love and people that I love.
Good.
And I think also it's a decision.
Yes.
It had to be a decision because sometimes it's cold.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's crazy. Sometimes there's people think you're different and they try to say, oh, that's not beautiful. This is what's beautiful. But it's just me deciding I am beautifully and wonderfully made.
Facts on facts.
Yes, I'm beautifully and wonderfully made. And I'm going to thrive in this place that I have been planted. And let me say something. When you thrive in the place that you have been planted, people cannot say there is no fruits. The fruits will come out.
Yes.
Yeah? They cannot deny. They might try to throw rubbish while the tree is...
The roots keep getting stronger.
The roots keep getting stronger, and then the fruit is out.
Yeah.
Can someone say, this is not an orange?
No.
When it's an orange?
No.
And that's how, for all of us who are trying to want to be accepted,
yes,
that's how when people cannot deny your fruits, that's how you get accepted, because they have nothing on you.
Good.
They have nothing on you, really.
Nothing on you.
Absolutely. And again, like we said, Lynn, it's not pride. It's a confidence that comes from knowing who you are. Because at the end of the day, right, you and I, each one of us, we have like 70 trillion cells in our bodies, and each of those cells is stamped with, as scientists, we know it has the mark of God. It says, God within me. Like it has a code, each cell of that.
Yeah.
God eternal within me.
Yes.
Surely, when you think like that, honestly, isn't that marvelous? When an artist does a painting, what do they do first? They sign it, isn't it? They sign it. This is a masterpiece.
Yes.
Each of your cell is signed that, and we can see on the microscope. And then someone tells you that you're not worthy. No. But sometimes when they say that, we feel bad because we don't know ourselves.
So you gotta know your worth. Because when you know who you are, someone can tell you who.
Absolutely.
You're not. Half of knowing who you are is knowing who you're not.
Absolutely.
So you gotta know. I don't know who said that, but it's Einstein, I think. I'm not sure. But I think so.
You are correct.
It is him.
You've got to know. No, I don't know. I can't remember.
Yes.
I know the quote, but I can't remember whether it's
You've got
Einstein.
to know.
You've got to know who you are.
Yeah.
And part of knowing who you are is knowing who you are not.
Good. Beautiful.
And I think that's what we have to do.
And
especially as women, and especially as Black women. and especially as mothers, and especially as women who are trying to break into departments that are mostly dominated by men.
That's all. You are awesome. Where can people find you, and what would be your parting shot to our audience? I'm not asking them to come find you in the UK, but do you have like an email, social handles? If someone would also want to get your book, if someone would want you to ship them a copy, where can they find you?
Right. My company is called Raising Remarkable Teenagers.
Good.
Yeah. So if you go there, even if you just Google it, you will find all of our work. So it's raisingremarkableteenagers.com.
Yes.
The book is called Smuggled.
Yeah.
It's on Amazon. It's on pretty much any bookstore.
Yeah.
If you ask,
Yeah.
they will. If they haven't got it in stock,
Yes.
they will get you one.
Okay.
Because it's available
Yeah.
worldwide. Thank God.
Yes.
And,
Good job, Angela.
Yeah, thank you.
Good job.
I am so delighted.
So proud.
And also thank everyone, because I wouldn't have done this by myself.
Exactly.
All the people buying it and reading it, it's because of them. It's because of you guys that it's really excelled.
Yes.
Yeah.
Inspire my people with a parting shot.
Right. Thank you so much for listening. And what I can say today is, as you've listened to this story, our conversation with Lynn, I want you to know that you are worthy. And let no one ever tell you that you're not worthy. Let no one ever make you feel less than you are. Remember I said you have 70 trillion cells in your body, and each one of them has the mark of your maker. You are indeed a masterpiece. And this is not religion. Even in science, we have proven that. So lift your head high and go and do what God or universe or your heart desire. Just go and do it.
Good job. Thank you. Go out there also and conquer. Write as many books as possible. Raise your voice to as many people as possible. Inspire them with your words. Just because you, as I started with saying in this conversation, your energy is admirable.
Oh, thank you.
No, your energy, you are such a vibe. You're so patient. No idea last time you waited for us for like 2 hours. We were not even able to do the show, and here we are. You still made time again, and that speaks volume of the kind of person you are. I've enjoyed being here. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm ready to go have my MacD's now. Yeah, so guys, thank you so much for tuning in to today's conversation. And I just want to repeat something, because that was my quote for a long time back then. Half of knowing who you are is knowing who you are not. There is no reason why someone can go through that much and come out as one of the best sellers, best authors we have right now, and you tell me that you don't want to try again. Please try and fail, but just keep trying. Just keep trying. Try and fail, but just keep trying. And to people who are scared of even committing again, you can see her. You are awesome. You are loved. Nice body. Those are the kind of things you want to hear after someone has called you stupid and ugly for such a long time. You want someone to change, to help change your mindset. And it's good that you know who you are, because sometimes people shy from saying, this is the kind of partner I want in life. They feel like people will judge them, or you will grow older. Growing old alone where? Love starts at 40. So by the way, Kama, you have not reached 40 there and you are just like, I'm going to grow old alone. Don't let anyone pressure you. So many amazing men out here, and I know you will find your match, but just make sure that you've healed so that you don't continue bleeding on other people. Heal yourself. It's a journey, but it's beautiful. It is beautiful. Again, kids are observers. Whatever we do in their presence, they are going to pick that that. And if you show them it's okay to grow in a toxic environment, they are going to end up in a toxic environment, because not many of them, like Angela, will meet a Miss Kamau somewhere who is going to change their mindset. But above all, thank you so much for tuning in. Guys, I am so inspired by the kind of work that we continue putting out together and the kind of impactful conversations that we continue having on this platform. Remember, if you have not subscribed, please do. Should I start saying journey to 600k subscribers? Because again, that's where we are headed to, and I really want to thank you for being active participants of our shows. If you want to share your story with me, of course the email is right here. Send a well-detailed brief of your story, and who knows, we could be covering your episode on the next episode of LNS, wherever you are. God has shown it's possible. We'll travel, and tutaenda kila pahali. So hata ukiwa Belgium, just send us an email with a beautiful summary of that story, and when we come there, we'll definitely hit you up. Thank you so much for tuning in, my people. My name is Lynn Ngugi. Till next time, bye-bye.